Welcome to Discover Energy Work. And so, Discover Energy Work, the thing is I know I've interviewed lots of professors and doctors and so on, and absolutely I do like that sort of person to interview. But I'm continually fascinated in, people who aren't professors and doctors who've had experiences that can be just as interesting, valid, and true. And yeah, so I feel I just really want to share that with you. And I met Winona, and Winona, I could tell. In fact, I don't know the whole story, but I got a hunch, not this kind of hunch. Yeah, I've got an idea that Winona's got some interesting stories to tell us about her personal experience. So Winona, I'm trying to think of your family name. I was just going, oh, I should know
I
this.
don't know if I've ever shared. It's Wyatt. It's Winona Wyatt.
Wyatt. Like
Yes.
Wyatt no, that's Wyatt
It's like Wyatt Earp, but yeah, my last name.
Wyatt. Okay. And so Winona, I think the best thing is if you give us a bit of an introduction for yourself,
Okay.
and then we'll explore it. Well, hopefully we'll explore you. I mean,
All
we'll
right.
we'll hear your story.
Okay. So I've been like thinking about all the things I was going to say as I was going to introduce myself. But yes, I'm Winona. I am from the United States. Have lived most of my life in Philadelphia and Delaware. Come from military parents background. But right now, at this point in my life, I consider myself an astrologer, a just traveler, an experiencer of life. I have reached a point where I have shifted from my full-time work into something that I wanted to lean into more of my gifts and more of my purpose.
Yeah.
And my purpose being to experience that all life has to offer, being able to share those experiences with others, and more recently discovering that maybe I am also an experience for others. So that's in a nutshell. I have a whole bunch of different interests that pique my interest. So I
Mm.
offer a lot of different things, but that's mainly the gist of me. I'm all over the place.
So yeah, I mean, I suppose. I don't know what quite know where to start. I suppose my start would be when can you remember the first time that your interest in the more unusual, because like you don't go to the career fair at school and they say, you know what, you should be an astrologer, yeah, or you should be interested in the movement of planets, how they affect people's personalities and their lives, yeah.
Oh, it's so funny when you ask like when. I think it's something that's always just been present my entire life. I think about as a child, a 5-year-old child, my favorite movie was Poltergeist. So like that, with the ghosts and everything, and I was always into scary movies. I've always been into just like the darker side of things. As a child, I once made my own Ouija board by hand. I didn't have anybody
Okay.
to do anything with, but like I just out of curiosity, that's what I would do. I do a lot of things out of curiosity.
How old were you when you made your first Ouija board?
I don't know. I maybe 9 or 10, like pre-teen area, I think.
Parents, I mean,
It's Yeah, and then like it's so funny when you ask the when question because my sense of time is very fuzzy. So things for me feel like they've just happened or they've happened a long time ago, and I don't have that sense of how long ago it was. I always have to have points of reference to keep me anchored in time.
so I mean, if we go back in time, we think you're like 5 years old and you've got these feelings. Did you have feelings? You had these feelings for things around you or energies or
I
not really?
I don't even think I had words for it. I think it just sort of just felt like a natural thing. I think about the story that my parents tell me all the time. I don't even know how old I was at the time. I probably was like 5 or 6. And we were eating dinner at the table, and I was looking at, we had a wall of copper pots. And so I was looking over at the wall at something, and my parents were just like, "Well, what are you looking at?" And I was just like, "Oh, I'm just looking at the wolf." And they were just like, they look over, they don't see anything, and they're just like, "What's that about? We don't see a wolf." And then I'm just like, because he's not there anymore, he's over there. And the place that I pointed was above the sink where we had a hanging plant. And when I said that he was over there, the plant fell. So I don't have that specific memory. I think I have a vague memory of looking at the copper pots because I always looked at the copper pots. But that's the story they like to tell. So I think
Wow.
it's always just been something that sticks with me.
So that's interesting. So it sounds like they were quite like um is it permissive, or they were quite allowing you to have your experiences? They weren't like shutting them down.
They weren't, but I think because I grew up an only child, so I spent a lot of my time alone and just entertaining myself. I was one of the things that I was thinking about was how in my childhood I would consistently just go through the same drawers all the time or go through the same floppy disk and see what's on them and running DOS and everything to see what's on them just to see every time, even though I already should have known, but it was just like the joy and the discovery of it. So I was always just curious
Yeah.
and looking around. And my parents, since they were military, a lot of the times they weren't either home or, were busy. So I spent a lot of time just on my own within my own imagination. So I don't even know. I think it was always hard to determine whether it was just like my imagination or whether I'm tapping
Yeah.
into something. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
And so did you have an imaginary friend? Like, I'd say like poltergeist. Did you have an imaginary friend or
I don't think I did. I think I had very vivid dreams with objects from or okay, I didn't have imaginary friends, but I was very close to my dolls and even just the technology that I would use, like those were my friends, if anything. Those were the ones that I would have conversations with or spend time with. And I think that's kind of where my connection to technology really deepened was just because I spent so much of my time in the midst of it.
okay. Okay. Oh, okay. And so if we go on a bit, so was there a time where you started getting into the more esoteric things? Was there an experience?
Let's see,
Bearing in mind, I know you've got this feeling of time, so like I mean, it doesn't
I have
have
like
to be linear. It can be,
Yeah, I have snatches of memory of like finding an old witch's tarot deck. It was just like the playing card tarot deck type of thing that I found. I didn't really do much with it. I just thought it was interesting. And then when the internet was starting to come around, like in the mid 90s, I was one of the kids that was on there early. I would find all of the websites that would get into Wicca and fairies and all of that. And I remember even when I was in high school, thinking about what I was going to go to college for. And I was in music, and I thought I was going to go for music and possibly come back to dance and go that route. But I couldn't make up my mind. So there was also the other side where I was just like, man, I want to be able to study parapsychology things. I want to be able to get into that. And I think in my research of trying to find schools, it led me deeper into practices like Wicca and like paganism and just diving into that world where I was able to get more, I'd find the little shops in the neighborhood that I could connect with. And I think that's what kind of just led me down the pathway of.
did you do any spells when you were a kid? Did you like make something, I don't know, like a voodoo doll or like
I
uh
made little sachets. Like I would look up the properties of herbs in scents, and I would make little sachets for, prosperity or, just like little things
We
like
could
that.
spell.
I wouldn't do like spells. I remember a friend of mine was just like, "Well, do you have like a book of shadows?" I'm just like, "No." And even now my spell work feels very just intuitive and I go with what is around me and what I feel.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So there was your again, it sounds like you wanted to develop your own intuitive way and you didn't want to go down a fixed way. Um
Yeah, that describes my life
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, that's kind of nice as well. I mean, yeah, it's definitely nice. And so so tarot wasn't a thing and spells weren't really a thing. So was there an experience that you had that said what your thing was? Maybe?
Um, Not really. I think it wasn't until recently that I picked up that what I kind of do is channeling of sorts, where it's not like, because I think that's the thing. I think all the things that happen to me feel so subtle, but when I'm talking to other people, they don't really have that experience. So most of the time, if I'm having a conversation with someone, there will be a moment where if they're feeling a certain way, or even like based off of even beyond what they're saying, I can feel like the undercurrent of what they're feeling. And it kind of opens up for me a knowing of what to say, or a knowing of what it is that they need in that,
Hmm.
and so that I can give that to them or provide that information to them. And I never really thought of it as like, I didn't label it, but I think I kind of, in my reading, I think it just kind of fell on channeling, because that's what it felt most like, because it was just like I just have a knowing and I would answer. And most of the time, I wouldn't even really remember after the fact exactly what I said. I'd always just remember the gist. But my memory is a whole other topic of like discovery for me. So,
Yeah, it's interesting. So what I'm picking up or what I'm putting together like my own little mental model of what's going on. So I like to talk about the self being in the center, like our inner higher self or our balanced self. And the characteristics of this self are creative, yeah, intuitive, yeah. It just knows things, calm, peaceful, compassionate, caring, unconditional love. So this is the characteristic of somebody who's connected with their inner self. And so what it sounds like, and you can correct me because I don't know, but what it sounds like is when somebody's talking, you're connecting to something that's missing in their connection to their higher self. And that instead of like channeling, it's more like a knowing. I mean, maybe I'm wrong because like I don't channel, and then
well,
I write
I
books.
don't even know what it is. What I'm doing is channeling. There is a knowing, but there's also the words that come through as well, as they just tap into what it is. It's like I know exactly what to say and
Yeah,
what
give me
it.
an example. Go on. Can you do
Um,
that? I mean, I know that might be difficult. Yeah, but
So I think about somebody who was telling me about the struggles that their sibling was having, and how it's always hard to give examples because the memory thing kind of fuzzies
I
it.
totally agree. It is really, especially, I know I put you on the spot, so I didn't even tell you I was going to ask for this, but it's like, so I think, I say to the viewer, like, it's really weird, but like, our memory is episodic, so it remembers much better when we hear the story and we're led down this path. But so I do realize it's difficult, but yeah, we can try. I mean, it doesn't matter if we don't get one. Yeah, we
I
still got
think,
that whole astrology to talk about.
yeah.
So
So I think like, all right. So I think about when I was talking to an ex-partner of mine
mm,
who was going through a difficult time with another partner of ours, because we're polyamorous. And she couldn't really express what it was that she was feeling, but I could feel the sense of just hopelessness, and I have no idea what to do. Like I feel helpless, and there's nothing that I can do that's going to be right. She
Mm,
didn't say those things, but I could feel that that's what she was feeling.
right.
And from that, I would think about what the other partner was going through and from their perspective and like their deeper feeling behind their actions and provide perspective to my one partner that, well, maybe it's because she's going, these are the things that she's been afraid of. These are the things that, these are the triggers that she's going through, and this is why she's doing the things that she's doing.
Mm,
And it helps people get a sense of why they're going through a shitty time. Um, but in that kind of backfires on me sometimes because then it feels like I am telling too much or I am doing a in between. I'm playing the in between go middleman,
mm,
and that backfires a lot on me because I am telling things that I shouldn't be telling because they're private or they weren't even things that were voiced and
mm.
or accepted within that person.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. I think to a certain extent, the whole energy work area is work with the secret, with the unknown, with the yeah, because like even um if we think of something, very common, acupuncture lines, they're points on the skin, but there are lines deep within the body. They're flowing
Mhm.
deep within the body, and they just come up to say hi, and then they go back down. And so, if you're connecting, if you're connecting with energy to a certain extent, yeah, I mean, we cut across certainly normal taboos.
Mhm.
So if you say what somebody is actually thinking. Yeah. Well, number one, I don't know, but people sometimes aren't aware what they're thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's a challenge. That sometimes people aren't aware of their emotions and the depth of their emotions because there's something on the surface which is just holding everything together, um, and there's deeper emotions bubbling, and of course that's very suggestive, isn't it? It's very sort of disempowering for the person, isn't it? So, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, I can see how that would be difficult. Yeah, totally. I can see it from all sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happened and is that what you're doing now? Or have you like sort of said, okay, I'm going to put this inside the astrology and then I can talk about it and it sort of make
Um,
more sense?
I tend to just naturally do it when I'm in social situations or if I'm spending time with somebody and it doesn't happen all the time. I think it just happens when there's a very particular conversation happening and then I kind of allow myself to open up to whatever energies that
Mm,
there are.
mm,
Um, it and I think even just thinking about it, I don't even think I do it consciously. I'm not like thinking to myself, oh, let me see what this person is feeling. I think I just kind of it just comes to me and I go with it. And
okay.
instead of me telling myself, that I'm making things up, I allow myself to provide feedback and because I'm a problem solver, I am always wanting to solve problems. I'm always wanting to figure things out. So I can't help but to share that with someone, and hopefully it's something that's helpful, or hopefully I say something that's helpful and useful. And most of the time they seem to be grateful for what I say, or it's a perspective that they hadn't realized or thought about that I end up sharing. So I just
Yeah.
let it come when it comes. And with the astrology, I
Yeah, can
use
we go into the astrology? So I'm fascinated. I mean, number one, I think astrology is like so big and so massive. Is there a particular area that you were attracted to, or did you start in one area and go to another?
I think I just started in. like the normal, oh, this is your horoscope, and not really knowing that it goes so much deeper than that. And then I think as a child, I was into astronomy. Like I had a telescope, and but I was into a lot of things. So I didn't go deep into it, but I was also into astronomy. And then I think in my mid 30s, I discovered that there was, well, actually, no, that's not true. In my early 20s, in one of the, when I spent time working in this little occult shop, I got a book on astrology, and I was able to draw up my own birth chart by hand because it was before like they were doing it on the computers all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So I just did that for fun. And I think I always I was fascinated by how all the other planets play into a personality.
Yeah.
And and then in my late 30s or mid 30s, I started to really get more into it. And it made me think about just even my own birth, which that's its own story, where I was born early. I wasn't supposed to be due until like February or March, but I was born December, right on the cusp of Sagittarius and Capricorn. And I would always joke and say I just chose to be a Sagittarius, and I just waited until the last possible minute to be able to do that. And then come to find out with my rising sign, I am a Leo rising, but had I been born 10 minutes later, I would have been a Virgo rising. So again, I probably just waited into that last possible minute to get that one little configuration
Yeah.
um, to be born, but I was early, so I had to do like the incubator and all of that. But
Hmm.
I think like I started to just dig deeper and deeper, and I would download the apps and get more information, and I thought it was really interesting. And then I would look up other people's charts, and then I think the area that really interests me is synastry, where how people can get along with each other. And I saw that there is missing a thing for groups. So, because like with me being polyamorous, I'll have like multiple partners, and I'm like, well, how are we as a group? And there's nothing really out there that says that. So I've been trying to learn as much as possible so that I could be able to do that. I'm not there yet because I keep going down these little pathways, but like right now, I'm more focused on I do voice like voice messages for people's birth charts to sort of send a voice message based off of their birth chart, because people always tell me I have a great voice, and I'm like, okay, well, how can I use that? And then I like the birth chart aspect of it, and then from there I create a little voice message of 5 to 10 minutes where it just sort of runs down who they are based off of their birth chart or what's affecting them.
Hmm. Wow. I'm sort of that's a lot of information to take in. So there's this I mean, I suppose I'm going to just try and dig in there to try and understand it. So did you have an experience where you were reading the birth chart and you found something, like no when your birth, you found that, and then you found does your astrology tell you you should be an astrologer?
My astrology tells me I should be a performer pretty much.
Yeah, I can get that. I get that. You're very creative and you allow things to come through. I mean, I get that. What did you study? Did you study like performing or something?
Um, I I studied through high school. I was really in the music. I was in band and chorus, and I was going to be a music major. I was going to study music, but I did not focus enough to be able to go that pathway to go to college. So when I went to college, I was a computer science major for a little bit, and then I was a mass communications major for a little bit, and then I took a break for a little bit, and then I came back to college and was just general studies so I can get all my credits to transfer. And I did a lot of TV and video
Hey,
stuff, and then that's what I got my undergrad in. And then for my graduate degree, it was in information systems technology, so computers again, back to computers.
hey, interesting. So, but it's yeah. I mean, what I get is like this this idea of communication. Yeah,
Hmm.
certainly. I mean, computers are all about communication. Um,
Hmm.
and then and you know what I like about hearing your story is it's one of the stories where I hear you didn't gaslight yourself. Like when you felt something, you said, I feel this.
Oh, I gaslit myself.
Oh, you did. Oh, that's right.
But I never realized that's what I was doing until after the fact. So I would always have these gut feelings, and it would just say, maybe I shouldn't do that, or maybe I shouldn't be in this relationship, or maybe I shouldn't follow this pathway that doesn't feel like it's. And then I'll just be like, no, 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 it's okay, it's fine. And a few months down the line, I will end up getting my heart broken because, the gut feeling that I had was actually true with the person that I was dating. And
I'm
so,
kind of curious. I kind of feel like it's an interesting area, like the polyamory. Can we talk about that? Is that off limits?
we talk about it.
I mean, the reason and I want to stay on topic because number one is I think it's something which is a little bit more um, growing, as it were. Like people are more conscious of these multiple relation. I mean, I you can maybe tell us what is polyamory because I might not even know it exactly, but I'm fascinated in the energy of it. Like, how does
Hmm.
this even work with the energy? Because it seems like it's quite a lot just being with one person. And I mean, I'm not making fun. I have a wonderful partner and I
Yeah.
love her to pieces. But if that's one person, I'm like thinking, why would you pick more? Right?
It's it's funny because well, I feel like everyone does polyamory a little bit different, and
Okay.
there's a lot of people that just say there's only one way, and that's not true. But for me, the way I came to it, I was in monogamous relationships. I think I had seen a throuple, or like it was like three people in a relationship once, and I was like, oh, that's fascinating. They're all just in a relationship. That's amazing. And in the way that I existed, I was just like, people aren't meant to just get their everything from one person. And I always had that mindset. And when I was in my monogamous relationships and I would mention that, I would be the bad guy, or I'd be the one that, oh, you're cheating on me because, you have
Okay.
this openness towards, even if I wasn't.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Got it.
and then with I was once married, and with that relationship, there was a desire discrepancy. My partner wanted sex much more than I did, and I didn't want to take away from the partnership, but I also wanted to make sure that her needs were getting met. So for me, I was just like, I'm perfectly okay with you finding your physical needs elsewhere. I
Okay.
know that that's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, she was not um,
That was
open to
not
that.
okay. Yeah.
And she just wanted me. And so that caused a lot of tension in the relationship. And it just escalated to the point where we had to end it.
Mm.
Um, and then from there, I think I had sort of just given up on relationships and love altogether because I'm like, people are terrible. No one really knows who you are. And I started to lean more into relationship anarchy, where it was the relationships that you have with people are the relationships that you have with people. It doesn't
Okay.
matter, there's no labels on it. I can have a close relationship with a partner and also a close relationship or intimate relationship with a friend, and the two are their own. Each relationship is their own thing. So your my relationship with one person isn't going to affect my relationship with somebody else. It's
Mm.
their own separate
Yeah.
entities. And so I had leaned into that, and then I would get into another relationship and we would sort of be more focused on each other. And people would ask me, well, whatever happened to the relationship anarchy? And I'm just like, well, it's still there. It's just I'm focused on this person. And we had an open relationship, and I was too busy working to really date much, but she dated more. And then one of the people that she dated, I got involved with. And then that became a little bit of a challenging thing because she wasn't really ready. She said that she was, but she wasn't ready to open up things for all three of us to be together. So there were a lot of just, you have to be honest with yourself and with the people that you're with um, about
That's
what
a
you,
big challenge. I think that's a big challenge for anybody. I mean,
yeah,
it sounds so stupid to say, but I mean, honestly, it is.
it
Like,
really
because
is.
we sometimes we don't even know our own feelings. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
um,
And I still struggle with that. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out as I go. And one of the things that I would want my partners to have is patience in that process as I'm figuring it out and knowing that we're going to make mistakes and we're going to try to fix it, but also knowing that sometimes there is incompatibilities. And if those incompatibilities get in the way of being able to be together or being able to be together kindly, then that's sort of the time to make your distance. But I think the thing that I feel about for polyamory is just that then that way this allows relationships to be strong and where they're strong and where there are things that feel like they're lacking, you can have that in another partner and it not affect the relationship that you're with in the other ways that are strong. So there you can just have a community of love versus trying to get it from all one person and they don't have the capacity to do that.
right. Okay. So now my question is that that's sort of just defining the polyamory. So how does that work with, or how's that even related, if it is at all related to the energy work and the astrology and everything else?
Um,
Action.
For me, I think I'm in the midst of figuring that out. It's been kind of messy for me right now because of like what I was saying earlier, where it's just like I have these energetic senses about people or about the energy of something, and I may or may not share too much with one of my partners about the other. And or there may be misunderstanding about how I'm behaving versus how they're expecting me to behave.
Hmm.
Or um, for me, it's I may have a misunderstanding about what energy I'm getting from them and what energy they're intending to put out towards me.
I mean, can't you like, I mean, I just a suggestion. I mean, can't you like do a like a astrology chart for the relationship and each
I
person
do.
and
I have, and like, it shows because it's all very nuanced. So it shows where there's compatibilities and there shows where there's incompatibilities. And it's not even because with the charts, the way that I see it is they're more like planetary influences, but everyone still has free will to
yeah,
ignore that if they want, because they all have lived experiences that also inform how they're going to behave. So there may be that deeper connection or that deeper influence in there and deeper impulses. But then if they have a particular trauma that they're working through or the way that they've grown up, um, as much influence there can be, there's still going to be that conflict there based off of that particular incompatibility.
and it
So,
sounds like very complex and certainly like it could I could imagine it's almost like a specialist area of astrology in taking however I mean I've I think I watched a show and they had like 9 or 10 people in this polyamorous community. And I'm like trying to put that all together astrologically. And okay, there was it was a little bit more kinky and things. Yeah, it was
mhm,
more kink involved, which is fine. I mean everyone to their thing. I mean that's my the golden rule is my a way of looking at life. It's like as long as you're not hurting anybody,
right,
um, then and do unto others as you would have done unto you, then I think it's it's a compassionate society. Um, but I mean, I can imagine it gets extremely complicated.
yes.
Um, just just the multiple relationship. I mean, I don't know if you know the idea in psychology of multiple relationships. When you have a girlfriend and then you work with them. Now they're girlfriend and work colleague, and
Mhm.
then, for example, they become your supervisor. So the girlfriend, work colleague, and now boss, and then I don't know. Then another aspect comes into the relationship. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's just like it's the more layers there are to the relationship, the more areas of tension and misunderstanding and conflict, like
Mm.
sitting there waiting to be inflamed, I would say.
Lots of little landmines. Um,
Landmines, yeah, maybe a
it's I
land.
think about like what is it what they say when there's even just when three people are in a relationship, that's how many different that's the person between one and two, that's one relationship. The relationship between person two and three, that's another one. The relationship between one and three, that's the third one. And then there's the relationship between all three of you, and that's the fourth one. So it's like it all kind of interplays with each other. And
And then there's
communication.
the relationship to the outside world,
Hmm.
which is super important because each one has a relationship to the outside world and the other two affect that.
Yep.
Um, and and then the outside world to it as a whole unit. Yeah, it's when we're doing energy work, we have we. I mean, when I'm doing my energy work, I'm checking on that because like that could definitely, um, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So what is that? What do you do most? I mean, I imagine you don't do that the most. Is like checking
Well,
up.
I haven't even started to delve into that because I know how intricate that will be, because even just looking at two people and their compatibilities, there's different ways you can look at that relationship. And so when I'm thinking about groups, I know that that's going to be really just intricate and sticky and uh, really delicious puzzle to figure out, but it's not for me right now because I'm
Okay.
just letting myself get comfortable in just the overall astrology of it all, and getting comfortable with giving readings and getting comfortable with talking about it, and even just saying I'm an astrologer, because I go back and forth between actually saying that out loud to people and
Okay.
not.
What is the weirdest paranormal experience you've had, would you say?
Hmm. I
I mean, you
I
can say more than one if you feel like there are a few.
I think because so I have this tendency to forget. And I feel like there have probably been moments where I have tapped into something larger than myself or some place else, and got whatever knowledge. I always have that feeling where I've been somewhere and I've collected a whole bunch of like information that's really, really great. And I'm never meant to remember it. So um it kind of just I don't know, it gets stored away somewhere in the back of my mind, or I don't know, or it just gives me a sense of peace and I'm okay now. I think about just the other day when we were at your workshop and you were working with me, and you had mentioned, like, the vastness of
Oh
space.
yeah, I remember. Yes, no. Yes, I was doing the energy work on you and I'm like, it's all massive space. It's like when I'm checking what's weakening it, it's it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, behind me, yeah, the virtual background is kind of
Mhm.
like that's your background, really. It's like these massive structures, and I'm like, I've never done energy work where I'm taken into that space
Mm.
with somebody. I mean, it's fine. But it's like, wow, so
It's
interesting.
but I think at that time, during that time, I was feeling very, so I go into these moments of sadness and like a homesickness for someplace out in space. So like I feel like there's like a connection to me and somewhere out there.
Mm.
And I think it came up a lot because I was listening to an audiobook when I was listening to your podcast. I think two people mentioned her. What is it? Dolores Cannon. And then
Yes.
so like her channelings, and then when I think back to like the channelings of Bashar and everything, and I know that there's just like a greater cosmos, a connection out
Mm.
there. And whenever I think about it, there's always like this longing to return and miss, like I'm just like missing something. And so a lot of the times when that starts to get really, really overwhelming, I'll have moments of something where I feel connected or I get information. I'm not exactly sure how, because every time afterwards, like the next morning, I don't really remember. It's like a dream.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I can relate to that.
and then I feel better. Like, you know, I feel kind of, I don't feel as homesick or sad anymore. I'm kind of just at ease again. And I think I'm kind of just like reminded of my purpose of being here, and that's just to experience here. So I can't remember things because then I would know more and I won't be able to approach life with the sense of exciting curiosity that I tend to do.
Wow. Super. How can people, I mean, you're giving readings, yeah? How can people find you to get a reading? Or, I mean, I mean, I don't want to say this if it's not correct, but I mean, even a group who wanted to look at their group relationship. Yeah.
It's a group that might take some time.
Yeah.
But I do
That's
have I have a form where people can sign up to get one of the voice messages. I was trying to think of central because I have so many different other offerings that I have, like where I'm doing this guide to connect to bond with your AI companion, and a writing guide to find your voice again, and all these other things. So I figured the easiest way to find all of that is just through my website, winonawyatt.com. And it has all of the things that I'm offering right on there.
And are you doing like Instagram like things or Facebook Reels and things to
I
connect?
will be. I am in the process of creating content for that. It's not out yet, but I know I'll be able to link to that. I mean, I'm Winona Wyatt pretty much everywhere. Um, Except for on TikTok. I think I'm Winona Odalette, which is my middle name. Um,
Wow.
but I think I have all of those linked on my website.
Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, I I wish that will go amazingly for you. I know, I mean, it's very difficult for me to explain to everybody. Like, I just feel like there's magic around you, so that I just wanted to reach out and hear some of your stories, which we have done, I have got. And I think people can get that feeling by listening to us talk. So
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
thank you so much.
Yeah, this was great. Yeah, enjoyed this a lot.
I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I hope everybody else enjoyed it. You're supposed to subscribe, by the way. Yeah. Ring
Yes,
the bell.
yes, ring the bell. So you get the little new episode.